So I was, really young, and I grew up with ADHD, and I had anger management problems. Do you have ADHD? No? Well, she was like, yeah, she was like, me too. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Jungle Jordan, and we are here in snowy Kentucky, apparently, at the Louisville Zoo. I'm excited. We have a few things and a few encounters ahead of us today. Snowy in my eyes. I can't see. Let's go inside and have some fun. All right, you guys, we are still here at the Louisville Zoo with Chris 2X of Future Healers Got Zoo Buddies and Future Healers in general. So explain to me real quick, what is that? What is Future Healers?
Well, it's a great kind of dual program, Jordan. One is involving the medical side of engaging kids 4 and 13 years old, which would be with medical students here at the University of Louisville School of Medicine, and equally the Department of Surgery with surgeons. And so they study the anatomy of the human body and other things. And then we kind of bring them in, some of those from the medical side, into the animal kingdom. And we call it Future Healers Got Zoo Buddies. So they can study animal conservation, caring for animals, and equally at the same time, when they get a chance, they can study about what it entails to know about the animal's anatomy also.
What was the whole reason for this program? What got started?
Most of these kids come from very challenged neighborhoods where a lot of gun violence is going on. And we thought it would be neat on the medical side, when the zoo reached out to us, to have them involved so they could feel a healing bond connection with both in regards to what some of these kids go through as far as the secondary trauma around gun violence and things like that. And to just give these kids at least some encouragement to maybe look beyond that activity in their neighborhoods and to say, you know what, because some in my family might be involved in that, or some in the peer group circles might talk like that. I don't want to be a statistic like that. So I think my time is better spent studying animals, getting acquainted with animals, and hopefully at the same time, again, to give them some healing connection, equally raise their goals and ambitions to maybe think about being a zookeeper one day as young, African Americans, but equally at the same time, regardless of what they do, this can be a very, very illuminating light in their lives to say, guess what? This experience has made me become a better person. And equally, I've got to get this in there, as it relates to the parents. What makes this program, or the two programs, so successful, Jordan, is almost 100% parent participation. Yeah. We had a hunch early on. Those of us in the partnership, medical students, surgeons, those here at the Louisville Zoo, that if the parents get a taste and they get to feel this energy, they would become addicted to it in a good way, and that's happened.
No, I love that. I'm actually very excited to talk to the kids today, and it just, because that strikes, hits home for me, because that's one of the main reasons why I make videos.
Yeah.
That's why I put out what I do, because I always felt like I was a little isolated and a little different, and I was in a bad way. I was getting in trouble. I was getting suspended and expelled from schools. I was into fights, and the only thing that I feel like that kept me from gangs and drugs and stuff like that was going to visit the zoo to see animals. And I found more of a kind of like a niche to talk about animals to people.
Well, and honest, Jordan, we prepped them about your visit and a little bit about your story, but you told the full story. And they were anticipating hearing something that was relatable to them because they're in those spaces.
Right.
And what you bring as an African-American zookeeper, presence-wise, is that hope that they're looking for. Right. They're willing to work with anybody in the zoo. And when they can see representation, it means a lot to them, and you're making it happen.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. So just one last thing, what does it mean to you, this program?
Oh my God, Jordan, it's just leaps and bounds. It's the first time the Louisville Zoo has ever embarked on a project like this for a whole full calendar year. And to do it with young Black kids is really meaningful. It's like they're determined to say, we want this kind of inclusion. We want to show strong evidence that kids who come from inner cities and these urban neighborhoods can do great things if they're exposed to the animal kingdom in a unique way. And that's why it means so much to me. they're getting exposure in a unique way to help them grow with leaps and bounds as it relates to the challenges of dealing with the negativity in their neighborhoods.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for all that you do, and I'm very appreciative that I was able to come down and talk to you today.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much, brother.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And so one day I was working with the hippos, and there was a kid, looked very, very similar to me, about your guys' age. And I was throwing food to him. He walked over, he was like, "Are you the zookeeper?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I want to be like you." And like when I heard that, I was like, "Oh man, I gotta do something different. Like this is not like what I'm doing is not. I'm not making enough of an impact." So I started social media to like get people like you guys, involved with animals. So you guys, I have a special surprise. Yeah. Can anybody see what I'm holding in my hand right here? What is it? Armadillo. Very good. So armadillos have this stuff all over their bodies, you guys, that's made of something similar to what we were holding with the rhino horn. So what is all over her body? Scales. So they're kind of like scales, but it's something that, what does it do for her? It protects her. So that shell, that outer shell protects the armadillo from being what? Hurt, right. So you see how she has her face tucked in there? So the three-banded armadillo is actually the only armadillo that's able to curl up into a full ball like this. It's about, what'd you say, it's about 4?
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, are we counting that too? Or are we counting only those 3? What do you think? Are we counting that too? Mm-hmm. Things about possums is that they actually have a really short lifespan. They don't live very long, and that's just naturally. In the wild, they'll live 1 to 3 years. That's just their natural lifespan. Very, very short. Another cool thing about possums, do you guys know what they eat? Well, yeah, well, so when owls eat their food, sometimes there are things that they can't digest, like fur and bones, right? And so what they do is they create owl pellets. So these are what get coughed up out of their mouth. So they basically regurgitate this and they'll spill it all over the ground. Yes, I'm touching it. Yes, I'm touching it. Yes, I know. Probably from a little mouse or something, right? Look at that. Isn't that funny? Isn't that amazing? Look at that. You want the bone?
Yes. Oh, can I have one?
I don't know if you can have these bones. Can't be digested. Like, cause we can't eat bones, can we? Not we shouldn't, right? Because we can't really digest it. That would hurt coming out.
For you, and it's a reminder, man, it's the future healers, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Just to remember us by as a memento.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it. No problem.
Thank you.
Awesome. Oh, thank you.